So today we're going to talk about my 8225R, and we're going to talk about the bull calf chisel plow. That is not the bull calf chisel plow, but why this is kind of a special tractor. And I guess I didn't get into the actual specs, so I'll tell you quick. 8225R with deluxe lighting package. It's got that. 5 remotes with a K-strain, dual hydraulic pumps, factory radar. Like I said, the deluxe lighting package, 50-inch tires on an 8225R, and it's got all 3 PTOs. So we're going to talk about the bull calf chisel plow, this tractor. You're going to see me do some farming. And we're almost back to just doing interviews. We're getting real close. We're getting right down there. But, yeah. And I'm going to bale some hay, because you always bale hay in November. Don't you? All right, so Clifford got really dirty when I spilled diesel fuel on him Thursday night. But I unhooked him from the stock chopper, and we're going to try and bale hay. So the cover crop I cut, I raked it up, and we're going to try and bale it up a little over a load probably. But it's tough, but I got faith in this baler. I think it can do it. So the tongue on this wagon is not extendable. I backed right up to it and dropped the pin in. I'm really hopeful here. I'm really hopeful. I really like this baler. So let's hope old Don and his magic on balers works. While we're baling with my dirty 4440. So she's baling her. I don't know. I mean, they're heavy bales for sure. But you know, we're gonna feed them right away, so they probably won't heat. But yeah, really cool. Yeah, look at that. All right, so we're on the last round. The lights are on. Still green as can be. I mean, that wagon is almost full. If I can make it to the end, the other side isn't that heavy. We could leave that, but I need to get this windrow in the wagon. Wow. I can't believe it. That's amazing. This baler was, wow. I've never seen a baler that could do this. Huh. That's really neat. Yeah, mid-November, green, it's cold. I got the lights on. Weird to bale with the heater on. Although in 2007, I baled in December some new seating, but it was dry and it was 70 degrees. It only got to 41 today here, I think. So, yeah. Wow. There we go. She missed a bale. We're out of twine. All right, so we didn't run out of twine. It missed one bale, but I think we've got enough to finish. We can get to the end of the field here. There might be a bale or two on the other side, but we're about out of room. So it missed one bale on this whole wagon, and we shouldn't have been baling any of this. So yeah, let's see how it does. All right, so here it is. This is it. End of the hey, I can't believe it bailed it. I can't. Yeah. So I missed one. Wow. Wow. Now we're gonna clean the baler out so there's no rodents in there. We don't need rodents trying to live inside here. So yeah. All right, so for the last 3 hours, I've been blowing the combine off with the big air compressor. And if you look, there is stuff everywhere. Yeah, it's one of them things. You want to get the combine good and clean so the rodents stay away from it in the winter time. But yeah, it's a job. Be glad when it is done. So there we go. But yeah, now I gotta go do the dryer. All right, Thursday night, I'm going stock chopping. Yeah, I ordered new microphones. We were going to do some interviews, but we'll do those, I guess, maybe next week. You're going to have to put up the farming video, I think, but we're going to get stock chopping, followed by some chisel plowing. So maybe me and Laura, I can get her in the tractor with me tonight. She'll hold the camera and we can talk. So this is the last load of corn for the fall. This is, last week I loaded it up. It's been sitting on the truck, running her in tonight. Finished stock chopping at home here. I was gonna show you guys more of that stock chopping, but a buddy of mine called. But we're gonna haul this last load of corn in for the fall. And yeah, probably won't haul any corn till spring unless I need a little fundraising in January or something. But yeah, then we're gonna chisel plow. And pretty fun to chisel plow. I look forward to that. All right, so I got that corn hauled. I'm gonna go start chisel plowing. It's about 8 o'clock at night. Run till about 10. I ain't gonna get too crazy tonight. Hopefully I have a big day tomorrow. I got to stock chop just a little bit more tomorrow, and then we have to show somebody where to do some biosolids application. Like biosolids is like waste treatment lime. We need the lime, and the price is better than having the co-op spread lime. So we're doing, I got to show the guy where we got to go. But other than that, yeah, want to kind of get the tillage on the run by Saturday night, just in case the co-op can apply some anhydrous. So anyway, yeah, so this is the 8225R. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to talk about this tractor while we're chisel plowing. This is a tractor that I really like. It's kind of special. So yeah. All right, so we are chisel plowing. I guess technically, according to John Deere, this is mulch tilling, because this is a mulch tiller, not a chisel plow. I consider this a chisel plow or a disc chisel, but I think Deere calls it a mulch tiller. But this is a 714 Deere. This is an early 90s one, but they might still make them. They were still making them up, what, 3 years ago or something? But this one is an angle gang one, and it's aggressive, and it turns the ground pretty black, which everything that I'm fall chisel plowing is fine. It's non-highly erodible ground like the home farm here, and I'm only doing 60 some acres, 62, 63, 64, something like that, of you know, corn stalks, because this is going to be corn on corn. Yeah, I run continuous corn here at home, except where I had the oats and the oops, I got to stop here. The oats and the soybeans on part of the home farm. So I am going to set the phone down, and we're going to talk about this tractor and talk about what I'm doing. Okay, so like I said, I'm out chisel plowing to me. And on the home farm here, continuous corn. And the reason for continuous corn here is, well, number one, the dryer is here. So why do I want to plant beans when I can look at the dryer from here and haul corn in from a long ways away when you've got corn right here, you know? So that's part of it. And the home farm here sits on, there's 71 point something acres here on my home farm. Of that, 61 tillable. So I just planted in the corn. Now the other reason is I like corn. I'm not big on beans, and so I can look out right at home, see corn grow. I can go check ears right here at home, and I like corn here. And then corn is better for your ground as far as building organic matter. So if you run continuous corn, you'll build your organic matter. So that's a lot of the reason why I go continuous corn. Here. Now, down at the other farm, I've got, that's going to be corn again because I had my these oats and beans here on 20 acres of the home farm. I'm making that up by, you know, I made it up this year with some corn on corn, and to get my rotation where I want to be, we're going to have corn there again. So the third year of corn, it should finally be pretty good. The first year of corn on corn, there's a penalty. But by the, you know, on your third corn crop, it's generally all right. And the reason for that is, with all this trash and roots, like everything that the plant is, it takes fertilizer to break that down. It ties it up, and the you know, basically everything that makes it good for building organic matter takes fertilizer to break down. So your first year, you end up tying up stuff trying to break it down. But by the third year, you broke down the previous year's stuff. Yeah, it'll still take nutrients to break down the corn crop, but you have the previous year's fertility where it was already. So, yeah, looking forward to that. But I really enjoy this because, you know, there was a time when I would do a lot of fall tillage. You know, I wasn't no-tilling much. You know, just, yeah, it was busy and a lot to do with small equipment. But now, like I said, the only fall tillage is about just over 60 acres of chisel plowing. And I stock chop it. I don't have a chopping corn head, so I stock chop and then hit it with the mulch tiller, as Peter would call it. And yeah, my field cultivator is an old field cultivator, which doesn't have the clearance of some of the new ones, so I want it chopped up pretty good, and I want it, you know, fairly buried, so I'm not plugging the field cultivator with trash, the residue. It's not residue. It's not trash. It's valuable. But yeah, it's kind of, it's nice. It's just enough tillage where I can spread it out over a few nights and enjoy it. But now, like tomorrow though, I'm gonna get after it. I mean, it still takes time. You know, we're not doing 10 acres now or even. So, especially like this part of the farm is pretty small, so a lot of turning. So it's gonna take a few hours. And so tomorrow I got a stock chop down at the other farm, 21 acres, and then we'll come back and get back to chisel plowing. Maybe it won't be done tomorrow night, but we'll be close. I got a couple things I gotta do. We're just going to biosolids tomorrow, like I think I talked about, or show the guy where to go. But other than that, we're gonna get a bunch done. But and this is a fun job because of the equipment. I'm not a big tillage guy. I'm, you know, very minimal on tillage, but there's still part of me that there's something about ripping the ground open, you know, that just, yeah, I don't know. It's that farmer deep down in you know, that it's in our blood, this ripping the dirt open and making it. You gotta move that soil to make the crop grow, and generally I don't think you need to, but for continuous corn with all the trash, you gotta bury it. So it's not highly erodible ground, so it's good. Typically what I do with my corn stalks is I'll plant beans into them, And yeah, we'll just no-till and drive between the. If you put your front tires on the corn stalks, on the rows, your planted, your new rows will be in between those. That's what I do. And the beans just come up, and then the next year, that bean stubble, when I do corn on bean stubble, sometimes I just plant it, no-till, or sometimes I'll field cultivate it. I don't chisel plow bean stubble. But yeah, you know, it's enjoyable doing a little bit of tillage. And like I said, the equipment, this is a nice chisel plow. I didn't rebuild the hydraulic cylinders. They're leaking a little bit, but other than that, it's a nice chisel plow. It's in really nice shape as far as paint. It was always shedded. It has the original implement dealer emblem stickers on there. And it's in good shape. So it works good. Before this, I had a Glencoe soil saver, which I had for years. And we could talk about the bull calf chicken plow. But, yeah, the bull calf chicken plow. Anyways, the 714 does a nice job. Good tillage equipment was something that was a luxury for years. Because tillage equipment in general, you can just make another pass. You know, if you've got junky tillage equipment, you just do it again. And nice tillage equipment is something that was a luxury. This was one of the first really nice pieces of tillage equipment I owned. My field cultivator was okay. But, you know, this one was nice. And the other thing is I wrote a check. It felt really good. Good years, and I just had the money. There was no payment. I just wrote a check for it. I felt good about it. You know? And then tractor-wise, we got to talk about the 8225R. All right, Friday morning. Well, it's getting close to noon. Had some stuff to do this morning, but we went and looked at where we got to do the biosolids and stuff. But I am going to fuel Clifford here. We're going to go down to the other farm, stock chop that, and then it's back to chisel plow until sometime tonight. The cows saw me, and they came up, and they were mad. They wanted to eat. So I'm giving them a bale of that green oats that I baled on Monday. So this stuff is wet. These bales weigh at least 80 pounds. They could weigh more. I'm winded carrying them in. So I just left them in the wagon. We're going to feed them out of the wagon, but baled them there Monday, and they were wet, like I said, and they're absolutely cool. Not heating at all. It was 27 degrees last night. Like, it's that time of year. So good feed. They love it. And it's really good feed. Like, it's all good young oats and a little clover, and there's even some peas in spots. But yeah. So yeah. Now to fuel the tractor and stock chop. I greased it yesterday afternoon and only stock chop for about an hour or so. So should be good to go. But yeah. Gotta take care of the cows. Their corn stalks are getting pretty down there now that we had gave them. So yeah, keep feeding them some hay. All right, so we are stock chopping. You can see Clifford is very dusty, especially if you saw the video last week. I had spilled diesel with his fuel sending unit was sticking. When I was filling it, it wasn't full. I didn't think it was full, and then all at once it was, so I had to jump out of the cab, shut it off quick. But yeah, Clifford's a little dusty. But so we're just going back and forth. This field here is 21 or 21 and a half acres, and it's beautiful soil. This is surrounded by hills, and if you look in those trees there's a creek. So over the centuries, the soil has settled out here. So really good land. I was a little disappointed at this year though. There was one hybrid that that didn't do that great. But this will be corn again. Just kind of a neat spot. I sold the woods and there's a 6-acre field on the other side off of this 40 acres. I sold that almost 3 years ago now, so we could buy one of the other farms, and I needed down payment money. But I've had a lot of people ask about buying this field here, and I'm like, I'm just not interested. It's really good land. Yeah, you wouldn't need to farm a lot of land if you had 200-300 acres of this soil all in one piece. That's all you'd need to farm. But yeah, we're going back and forth. And it's just kind of funny when you go down the road, having a smaller stock chopper is good, but when you're out here stock chopping, you kind of wish you had a bigger stock chopper. But that's all right. So almost done here, and I got to run a couple of errands yet. And I gotta get back to chisel plow. All right, so we got done stock chopping. Gonna jump in the chisel plow here for just a little bit, and then I gotta put this video together. But the cylinders on this plow, the seals are leaking. But it's not adding up to much. So I was checking the oil here. So if you want to know how you check your oil on these, there is a sight gauge, and it's within the lines, just barely. On the other hand, though, the quick hitch isn't down. But I know it's leaking, so I'll probably add a couple quarts, maybe a gallon. But surprised it's not leaking that bad. It looks bad, but I had a hose blow last spring, and I routed a new hose, and that's the old one in there because I didn't want to take those clamps apart. I think I was in a hurry is what happened. I need to take that out of there. It looks terrible. But yeah, so let's talk about the 8225R, and let's talk about the bull calf chisel plow. So here's one thing. I just checked the engine oil. That was hydraulic oil, transmission oil, but I was going to show you guys this. So that sticker is for Charlie. Charlie's autistic, if you haven't seen him in the videos, but this is Charlie's tractor as far as I'm concerned. This is the one him and I hang out with. So put that sticker on there. That's all about, it's Charlie's tractor. So let's talk about the bull calf chiseling plow and the 8225R. Well, first, the bull calf chiseling plow, because that goes back in time. In 2003, fall of 2003, I bought my 44 feet, my first 44. I had two of them. And that was a big deal. That was my first nice cat tractor. Like, nice cat tractor. My first sound gun. Prior to that, the nicest cat was a Black Stripe 1466 IH. So I got my 4450, and prior to that, my primary tillage tool was an Alice Chalmers 418s plow, 2000 monoframe plow. And that plow was slow. Been around moldboard plowing, you know, it just takes time. And whatever. But busy young dairy farmer, I needed, you know, I wanted to speed things up. And the neighbor had, the neighbor would buy my bull calves. I didn't raise my bull calves up. I didn't have enough feed to raise my bull calves anyway. So I sold him my bull calves. He had a Glencoe soil saver, and it was rough. He had parked that Glencoe soil saver by the John Deere 714, really just like I got, except I think it might be real close. I don't think it had the angle games, but he had bought this Deere 714 chisel plow, and he parked this Glencoe soil saver. Now this Glencoe soil saver was, it wasn't perfect. Let's say that. It never seen a shed. It was just rust. You could see traces of green and orange and green and red and white paint in places, but it wasn't. And it was tweaked So the wheels on those, there wasn't tandems or anything, which, you know, this one doesn't have tandems. But the frames weren't heavy enough to hold those for the weight, and it didn't help. They put add-on shanks on, so there was 11 shanks in it. It was a 19. But you know, they put on these added shanks. Well, all that extra weight tweaked those wheels even more, so it would wear tires out going on the road. But it would work. And I asked him, I said, "You want to make a deal on that?" He said, "Yeah, I'll sell you that chisel plow." He says, I'll trade you bull calves." And somehow we decided on a bull calf a shank for that chisel plow. The only thing is, though, he said, "But you got to pay for the add-on shank." So that meant 11 shanks, 11 bull calves. So I traded him 11 bull calves for that Glencoe soil seed. And like I said, it was a pilot, but it worked. And I ran it for years, and it ate a lot of tires. And then eventually, I had to work on it. It didn't just tweak; like the axles actually let loose finally on one side. So I redid all that, took it all apart, brought it to a welding shop, and had them rebuild, redo it all. And and I put it back together and ran it for a while. But that old soil saver just didn't have the clearance. Like they came out, I think that design came out in the 70s. 100 bushel corn, non-GMO, 4-row wide corn. They could do that, 100 bushel an acre. But 200 plus GMO corn stalks and stuff, you weren't doing that anymore with it. So I had to go to a stock shop. I used to disc my corn stalks, and then I went to a stock shop. Now, when I dairy farmed, it wasn't a big deal because we chopped a lot of the corn for silage, and then the high moisture corn was always non-GMO. It wasn't a big deal. But when I sold the cows, that old chisel plow just struggled. So we had a good year, and as I mentioned, I got this 714. The whole calf chisel plow went away. But yeah, so I actually have the Alice plow behind the farm and the trees. I was gonna scrap it, so it's there. So yeah, but that was fun. I had that beautiful. Well, I had the bull calf chisel plow, which was beautiful, and my 4450, my new 4450 was beautiful. And man, I go out in the fall, get to go chisel plowing when I wasn't milking, run at night with nice lights and nice cab. And I just thought it's awesome. And when I was 25 years old, I could sit out in that tractor. It wasn't as nice as this tractor for longer, and then I could sit in this one. Just because I was young and just full of a lot of stuff sitting there. I could just run on just like that, And not that I don't still love this. I really do enjoy doing my little bit of chisel plowing. I do that. Set up 62, 63 acres chisel plowing here. And actually, I won't do it all. I'm going to leave the corn stalks there until we get a bunch of deep snow. So even though they're pretty much ate all the stuff out of there, they can still run around and get outside. Their little yard they got isn't very big. This one they can go lay out. When the snow gets deep, then we'll have to turn it off or take them out of there. The fence, we don't want. If the fence shorts out, I don't want that. So, but yeah. So back to tractor. So back to the 8225R. After that 4450, I traded that 4450 in on a 4455, a really nice 4455. It had It was two-wheel drive with 18442s. I bought it in Millbank, South Dakota, Grant County Implement, and it was sold new. It was a one-owner tractor traded in there. It was sold new at Kibble Implement, Montevideo. So, and it was came out of western Minnesota, the Montevideo area, and it was beautiful. It'd been a flat tractor, grain farm tractor. It was really nice. And I traded the 4450 on it. I gave $10,000 to boot, and so I went down in hours. I went up in series, as far as the newer one, and for $10,000. But I had duals on the 4450 that were not duals on the 4450. Anyway, I loved that track. That was a nice 4455. Like, it was beautiful, and I babied it. So, as a young dairy farmer, I just didn't have much, But I had my 4455, so that was kind of something I really enjoyed, and I had a lot of pride in that tractor. It was an important part of my farm because it was motivation. I had my 4455s are kind of a special tractor. They were only built 89, 90, 91, 92. And, versus, say, a 4450 was built 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. 4440, 78, 79, 80, 81. So they were built less time, and they were lower production because, it just didn't have as many tractors getting sold. We were finally turning the farm economy around, and, so they're just a lower production tractor. Really, they're not rare, but they're lower production. And that was a really special tractor, and I'll probably talk more about it. That's a whole nother video that we'll save. But anyways, my 8225R I consider my 4455 because this tractor is really, really nice. It's 3,311.8 hours on it. Really clean, sharp tractor. I got paperwork on it. I know that I kind of like the 4455, and an 8225R is a lower production tractor. So these are called your 2010 8Rs. They were the first 8Rs, and you can tell these tractors because they've got round lights, but an R series cab. So they look like a 8030 series, but they have an R series cab. And yeah, they were introduced in August of 2009, and the tractors that replaced them were introduced in August of 2010. So some were made in 2009, they were made in 2010, and it sounded like a handful were actually made into early 2011, but very low production. And what Deere did with those tractors is that they ended up reusing the numbers. As time went on, they recycled the numbers into emissions tractors. So the reason that these are different is these don't have DEF or a DPF, the diesel particulate filter. So these are Tier 3 tractors. And Tier 3 came out with Deere in 2011. But they were I think they wanted to get new tractors to get people interested in buying the new tractors that have the emissions. And so these were, for whatever reason, they made, a year without emissions. Which there's EGR on them, but they all had EGR at some point. Even the Cummins, it's just EGR done with the cam timing, not necessarily with the actual EGR valve. So it was Tier 3. So it'd be the same as everything from 2006 to 2010 tractor. Anyways, yeah, these were low build, and they, like I said, they recycled the numbers in 2014 when they introduced the DEF models, except this one. They never reused the 8225R. It's made small horsepower. So this tractor was replaced in 2011 with the 8235R. And when the 8235R got replaced in 2014, it was replaced by the 8245R. They didn't have the horsepower kept going up. So now today they come full circle when they got an 8R 230 horsepower. 8R. This is the baby of all the 8Rs, and they never reused that number. So I always said if I could get one, it's so cool to have a tractor that was, you know, only made for a little while. It's a lot like a 1456 or my 4450. So we will talk one of these days when I have to do a farming video about my 4450. That was an important tractor, and what happened. It's a good story. But anyways, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. We're really close to getting more time where I can record some videos. We got a lot of interviews and stuff to do. As I mentioned, I've got a New Acres TV interview that I recorded that'll be coming out in probably a couple weeks, something like that. But we're getting real close to where, you know, I still got tiling. We're going to start tiling another place this weekend. But we're getting there. We're getting closer to I have more time to do interviews. Yeah. And I apologize that I haven't been able to do as many, but farming has changed for me with the livestock, with the cattle. So I have more responsibility, and there's not a lot of cattle, and they take a lot of time to take care of. So, anyways, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoy all of them. Thanks again for everybody watching. I'm making plans to go to Louisville, by the way. So you'll probably be able to find me at Louisville. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a good Friday night.